Number 9. Number 9.
Here she is. Thank you.
Joanna Osborne from Rising Sun. You're just touching on climate change and whatever. There's the increased CO2 in the world has increased the greening of the world. So I don't worry about it too much because the plants produce the oxygen that we breathe. We produce the CO2 that they breathe. So I'm not real worried about climate change at all. It goes in many cycles. You touched on Social Security, running out of money, but we never hear about all those benefits for aliens and refugees and all these people that come to our country that want housing and food and education for free that we all have to pay for. We don't ever hear of a reduction in their benefits so that Social Security benefits can go up. Also read an article about the Mexican cartels cutting holes with reciprocating saws in our brand new walls. And why don't we have sensors there to alert the Border Patrol to be there when they finally get through cutting? Because there are vibration sensors available. The real question that I had when I came in,
I knew you were going to get to it.
I just wanted to touch on those other
Speak
things.
into the microphone so everybody
Because
can hear.
I've been on a lot of your town halls
The
and
teletown halls, thank you.
I've been on a lot of your town halls and they've expired before I've gotten a chance to ask a question. So I'm making up for lost time. My question concerns HR 1111, the Department of Peace Building Act. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not, but I mean, who's the main sponsor? And I'll tell you if it's going
I
to be.
have no idea who the main sponsor is, but it's been brought up every year for the past several years and brought up to the floor, and I don't think it's been voted on yet this year, but it's sitting there waiting.
Okay, I will ask, and make sure the Washington office
That's
briefs me on HR 1111. Okay.
What I've read about it is that it's the UN, whatever they're planning to do in 2030 to make a one world government.
Okay, I'll look into it. Let me deal briefly with the cost of immigration, and look, I'm the son of immigrants. I mean, immigration is important to this country, legal immigration, but I agree with the president that we should go more toward a merit-based immigration because we accept 1 million people a year. And everybody realize we take 1 million legal people a year into our country, and this year we're on track to take 1 million illegal people into the country. Okay. Illegal immigrants actually, except in the state of California, maybe New York, actually don't have access to any programs, but they do have access to education. Because the Supreme Court says we have to grant them education, and they have access to emergency medical care. Because EMTALA says you have to treat everyone who walks into the emergency room for an emergency problem.
They have access to more than that because I deal with some in Pennsylvania.
I know, but if they do, they're not, it's because somebody is with a wink and a nod not asking the questions they're supposed to. Under the federal government rules, you're not supposed to. But even if they didn't get aid, if you look over the course of time, even just with the education costs, because if an immigrant comes in illegally with 3 children, I mean that's $750,000. By the time they get educated K through 12, it's $750,000. That illegal immigrant will never pay $750,000 in taxes. So the data is that it usually takes 2 to 3 generations, if it's an unskilled worker coming in, for that to be a net plus to the economy. So going forward, if you go now 50 years forward or 60 years forward, you go, oh, well, it's actually better that you had that immigrant here 60 years from now because their 2nd or 3rd generation is now actually positively contributing to America's bottom line. So the president says, look, if you actually do a merit-based system, you get, in the 1st generation, you get a positive addition to the American economy. So that's why he wants to take the 1 million people who are coming in illegally and say, we should have more of those individuals coming in instead of chain immigration limit chain immigration, because we don't want to say, look, if it's your brother or sister or father, mother, okay, you still can apply for a green card and entry, but if it's your 2nd, 3rd cousin, I'm sorry, we want to get someone in with a skill, because that's going to be someone who contributes to the economy immediately. Now, we need contributors to the economy at younger ages. Now, I think we need skilled people. You know, we still offshore too much engineering. We offshore too many skilled things where we could be doing this in this country. We just have to change immigration law and say, okay, it's easier for an engineer to come into this country, because we know an engineer in the very first generation will be a positive addition to the economy. And it makes sense. So we do have to craft it. Now, that being said, we're not going to do anything on immigration because all the oxygen is taken up in the room now by impeachment, and there's a complete impasse because I think people want immigration to be an issue in the next election, and I think it's a shame that you treat it that way. So,
I think what I'm referring to is that the federal government gives large grants to states for whatever benefits the state wants to hand out. The federal government isn't actually handing out those benefits, the states are, but they're getting the money from the feds.
well, certainly in the instance of California, so California decided that they're going to take their Medicaid program, they're going to open it up to illegal immigrants, okay? And they claim they're going to pay all the cost of it. But you know, money's fungible. I mean, they are getting federal money for their Medicaid program, and money is fungible. You're right, they're getting money from the Medicaid program, and the federal money supposedly doesn't pay for anybody illegally, but you're commingling it with a program that deals with illegals. Look, the president is pretty adamant that, you know, if a state's going to make a decision like that, they're on their own. They can do whatever they want. Now, they can't be a sanctuary city or a jurisdiction, because that's actually against the federal law, and I hope the Department of Justice at some point starts prosecuting local officials who, against federal code, instruct their police departments not to cooperate with federal officials. That is against federal law, and I hope they start doing it. The good thing about my district is I have 12 counties in the district. 12 of the 24 Maryland counties are in my district. Only one is a sanctuary jurisdiction, Baltimore County. Interesting that the murder rate is about doubled in the past year in Baltimore County. This is interesting, because we're told that if you become a sanctuary jurisdiction, it becomes safer, not more dangerous. I think the average person looking at what's happening in Montgomery County, for instance, Montgomery County, famous sanctuary jurisdiction, go look up the rape rate in Montgomery County, the rape crime rate, quintupled in 5 years. Not doubled, not tripled, not quadrupled, quintupled in 5 years. So that's why I just don't support sanctuary jurisdictions.